Alright, welcome back ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Press for Truth TV. Today is Tuesday, April the 2nd, 2013. And as you can see from the title of this video, some new information has recently come out that would suggest that the annual Bilderberg conference is going to be held near London, England this year, from June 6th to June 9th. Now, it was earlier rumored that the annual Bilderberg conference was going to be held for a second year in a row at the Westfield Marriott in Chantilly, Virginia. And I was there last year to provide extensive coverage of that event. So when I heard that it was potentially going to be held there again 2 years in a row, I was quite skeptical. I thought that perhaps this was just going to be a decoy. They're trying to throw us off their track. And that's starting to look like that may be the case. Investigative journalist Jim Tucker, who has been following the Bilderberg group for decades now, has just suggested that that very well may be the case. This is out recently from American Free Press. Bilderberg meeting site unclear. Virginia could be red herring. A new possibility has evolved in the annual hunt for Bilderberg's spring meeting. Somewhere within 40 miles of London, England, June 6th to June 9th. This is not absolute. There's still evidence that the meeting will be held again at the swanky Westfield Marriott near Dulles International Airport from June 21st to June 26th. On March 6th, in the presence of a longtime source, Henry Kissinger was overheard joking about keeping people guessing on the location of this year's Bilderberg meeting. At the time, the former Secretary of State was in a hospital in New York recovering after suffering a fall. If Chantilly, Virginia is in fact a bluff, Bilderberg is investing big bucks. In February, it was impossible for individuals unknown to Bilderberg to reserve even a single room at the Westfield Marriott, about 10 miles from Dulles International Airport, located a cab ride from Washington, D.C. Could you imagine what money must be spent to reserve every private room and every meeting room for an entire weekend? But those millions of dollars are pocket change to the world's kleptocratic elite. The last time Bilderberg met in Britain was at Torquay in the spring of 1977. In 1967, Bilderberg met at Cambridge, and in 1958 at Buxton. If the London date stands, the meeting will be held at a posh resort 20 or 40 miles outside the city. Bilderberg always meets in a distant suburban resort of the host city. Lawrence Summers, longtime Bilderberg leader and former Treasury Secretary, wrote in the Bilderberg-controlled Washington Post on March 18th that the European Central Bank would bail out bondholders and on better-than-market terms. Summers wrote that continued structural reform in the most troubled economies is essential, and the work of building a more satisfactory institutional foundation for the euro must go on. European policymakers, the International Monetary Fund, and others with a stake in Europe's outcome must be concerned. Summers was trying to sell the Bilderberg message that a World Treasury Department is necessary. It would be a major step in Bilderberg's goal of achieving a one-world government under the United Nations. And that is what all this boils down to. That's precisely been the goals of the Bilderberg Group ever since they founded in 1954. Was to establish a one-world government. And they've been achieving this incrementally every year that they meet behind closed doors. And that's why it's of the utmost importance to expose what Bilderberg is doing. And I think this year the global economy is going to be on the topic of discussions. I mean, it's no secret right now that the European Union is on the brink of collapse. More and more people are beginning to lose faith in the system of fractional reserve lending. More people over there are beginning to just not trust the banks, and nor should they. And the Bilderberg Group is well aware of the fact that this line of thinking is beginning to spread, and they have to get together this year to talk about how they're going to deal with that. So once again, it's of the utmost importance to expose and cover this event, and I wanted to let you know today that I want to be able to be there to provide the extensive coverage, just like I did last year in Chantilly, Virginia at the annual Bilderberg conference. I want to be able to do the same thing this year but I'm going to need your help. I just simply can't do it on my own. I don't have corporate backing. I don't have the kind of funds that mainstream media outlets are able to get. I'm just independent here, and the only way I'm going to be able to do this is with your contributions. And so please check the link in the description to where you can make a donation. It was around this time last year that I put out a similar call, and I let everyone know that I wanted to get down there to Chantilly, Virginia to cover Bilderberg, and it was you, the viewers, who contributed to my mission, contributed to my cause, and donated, and made it possible for me to get down there. And I was able to go, and I provided extensive coverage of that event. In fact, it ended up turning into a full-length feature documentary film called The Turning Point. None of that would have been possible without your contribution, without your donation. The film wouldn't have been made. I wouldn't have been able to get down there to provide that coverage for you. And it was all made possible with your contributions and your donations. So here we are 1 year later, and Bilderberg is right around the corner, getting set to meet again. And once again, I'm putting out the call that I want to be able to be there this year, whether it's in London, England, or if it's at the Westfield Marriott in Chantilly, Virginia. Once again, I want to be able to be there to provide the very necessary coverage that is needed to expose Bilderberg. And I think I'm the right guy for the job. I'm the guy to do this. So if you feel so inclined to contribute to my mission, contribute to my goal to expose Bilderberg, please check the link in the description to where you can make a donation. Once again, it's because of people like you who contributed last year that I was able to make the film The Turning Point. None of that could have been done without you, so I implore you once again this year to help me out, help send me to Bilderberg so I can provide the very necessary coverage to expose this very elitist, powerful, and secretive group. And so today, folks, I'll leave you with the trailer to our film, The Turning Point, so you can check it out. I'll also put a link in the description to where you can see the entire film in full. But for today, I just wanted to bring you up to date about some of the latest information in regards to the upcoming Bilderberg conference. Again, please check the links in the description to where you can make a donation if you'd like to contribute to my mission to expose Bilderberg. And for now, here's our trailer from the film we released last year called The Turning Point.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
Have you ever heard of the Bilderberg Group?
No, never.
I don't know too much about that Bilderberg thing.
The Bilderberg? Bilderberg?
In recent years, the lack of coverage from the mainstream media on the Bilderberg Group has been a problem as far as raising awareness about these conferences.
When people say that, quote, they control the media, they're talking about the secret establishment.
Where's CNN? Where's the mainstream media? Where's Fox, MSNBC? Any of these stations, they are not here.
It's by far the largest Bilderberg protest that I have ever seen. A lot of alternative media, a lot of attention being brought to the Bilderbergers.
Who are the companies they work for? Who else have they worked for? What are their agendas? What are they in the news doing? That will tell you so much about the reach of Bilderberg, about why they invite these people, and about how they put the world together.
I attended one Bilderberg meeting.
I don't know if I was at that meeting. I've only been to a few of them.
I was on that conference circuit for 20 years, the Trilateral Commission, and I went to all of them. The individuals are influential. They don't allow the media in.
It's the billionaire and trillionaire club, and you and I, we're not in it. We're not ever going to be in it. The Bilderberg Group was instrumental in creating the European Union and the Euro. I would say that's a pretty big deal.
2012 is a major turning point for the Bilderberg Group, as the independent media have been here providing the coverage that's been lacking from the mainstream.
The mainstream media is no longer mainstream. The alternative's taking over, and they're trying their damnedest to either restrict or shut down the free internet as we know it right now.
We've got to expose what's going on here.
These are the real tyrants, so we're identifying them, not the puppet presidents and prime ministers. We're going directly to the financial oligarchs, because information is power. And the truth is setting us free.
When you do things in darkness, they will come to the light, and they are. We're here just to shine that light.